Welcome to the Charleston Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the Charleston AMA and broadcasting from our friends at Charleston Media Solutions Studios. Thanks to our awesome sponsors at CMS, we get to chat with the cool folks making waves in Charleston. From business and art to hospitality and tech, these movers and shakers choose to call the Lowcountry home. They live here, work here, and make a difference here. So what's their story? Let's find out together.
Welcome to the Charleston Marketing Podcast. We've got a very special segment for you guys today. We're starting the segment called Silicon Harbor Hot Takes with Stanfield Gray. And hey, guess what? We've got Stanfield right here. Say hello, Stan.
Hello, Mike Compton. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Stanfield is the founder of Dig South, a tech summit, and also Charleston Tech Week. Founder, huh? Of a whole week?
I'm always pretty cool. Foundering around something.
You are. You're very,
hopefully not successfully founding. Yeah. So Dig South Tech Summit, we launched it 14 years ago on actually July 4th, 2012.
Okay.
That was the weekend we said, let's go all in. So Sonny and I dreamed that up.
Sonny Gray, his wife, Sonny Gray,
right.
by the way.
Sonny Gray, my wife. And that was an outgrowth of a lot of things, really. I was running the first mobile app project for the College of Charleston, went to the Ad Age Digital Conference, very familiar with South by Southwest Interactive. I thought, why doesn't the Southeast have its own super cool interactive, which they called it back then, /digital conference? And Dig South was born.
Crazy. Dig South was born. That's a heavy lift, though, because we went, and if you recall our segments live at Dig South, which was a ton of fun, opened my eyes way open to the whole tech scene here. So thanks for the invite. It was a ton of fun. What are we going to do here with this segment, though? Like, why are we doing the Silicon Harbor hot take?
Great question. So I thought it was a fun time to bring that back. In year one of Dig South, we hosted Shane Snow, a reporter from Fast Company magazine.
Okay.
He came down, did a great piece, interviewed people at the CRDA and SCRA. Nate DePore and Ernest Andrade had a big debate about who coined Silicon Harbor. Both claimed it, so that was fun. And after Shane published the article, it went kind of viral, not just locally but nationally, as people were looking at other emerging ecosystems around the country beyond Silicon Valley, New York, Boston, etc. So they were taking a look at Charleston. And we did this pop-up banner that year, spring of 2013, that said, "See the future on Silicon Harbor."
Okay.
And then, Rich Conti did a Silicon Harbor radio thing, which evolved into his Tech Life podcast. He's done a great job with that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been, incredible to see emerging technology kind of rise in the Southeast. Some of it around advanced manufacturing, around companies like Blackbaud that moved here in the early 90s to Charleston, Benefit Focus that emerged in the early 2000s. And companies like Red Hat out of Raleigh-Durham.
Okay.
And then Atlanta has a strong technology scene there as well that Georgia Tech has supported, and they have Tech Square there now. They have Venture Atlanta and multiple Techstars is based there, but multiple accelerator programs. So, Charleston has this unique quality about it where it's a gorgeous place where people want to be. There is some industry here, and then it's kind of at this interesting intersection between Jacksonville, Atlanta, Raleigh-Durham, Knoxville, Greenville, and I see Charleston as kind of the epicenter on the coast there. Sam Staley one time called it the playground of tech. That's how he referred to Dig South.
Oh,
it's really fun.
That is cool.
And that applies to Charleston. It's like, yes, we want to start companies and scale them, and we also want to have fun, a great quality of life.
That's it. What does Dig South stand for?
Originally, it stood for Digital South. At that time, 15 years ago, the digital economy was kind of a common phrase.
Sure.
And I saw it as a double entendre of also digging into the South, digging where you live, staying here. I grew up in South Carolina. I was born in Spartanburg. I went to the University of South Carolina. At that time, in the 90s, you had to move to Silicon Valley, New York, Boston, elsewhere, if you wanted to work for a globally scalable startup. It's very difficult to do that out of the Southeast. So fast forward to the time I launched Dig South, Sonny and I had a couple of young kids. I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could contribute in a small way to making this the kind of place where when our kids come out of college, and they're in college now.
Okay.
It's fascinating.
Congrats.
But when they graduate, could they launch and scale a company here?
Yeah.
And the answer is, absolutely yes.
Yes.
People are already doing it. It's happening. And so that's really exciting to me to see like Dig South contribute to that in a small way to where this is now coming to fruition, and you're not forced to leave to scale a company.
I love that. I've got 10-year-olds, and I'm using that speak as well when I talk about why we're building community is for the kids.
That's it.
That's it.
100%. Yeah.
You know who said that too? Ernest.
Yes, exactly.
He said that in our episode as well.
Right. Ernest Andrade has been a huge contributor to this in, very visible way with the digital corridor and the Charleston Tech Center. He and John Hand collaborated and developed that amazing project, and it's just been cool to see everybody, pitch in and lift all boats, so to speak, on Silicon Harbor.
That's it. Lift all boats, right? Like building community, collaborating, not competition isn't there. It is there, but kind of like a friendly competition, right? Like co-opetition is a new phrase that's going out there.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to having an abundance mentality. It's really easy when you're down in the trenches, myself included, to think, oh, I'm competing for that and this, and we want to win. But the idea is that not that you beat your opponent, but that you both win. And maybe you want to do it a little bit better than they did.
Yeah.
Of course, that's just the nature of wanting to do something well. In a capitalist society, you want it to be great. And so, I'm in there too, but with an abundance mentality and a mindset, I think we can all find enough pie to make it work.
You introduced me to Who Not How. I remember that.
That's right.
And I've been saying Who Not How probably every episode. If we go into the transcription, which I'm doing all the transcriptions and putting them into an LLM to, get some ideas of what other questions I can do or how I can better myself as a podcaster. And I bet that Who Not How comes up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Who Not How is like a concept I picked up from Dan Sullivan.
Sure.
And
did you meet Dan Sullivan?
I did not meet him, and I'm not sure if he originated that. But he has coined it and made it, popularized it, and to me, the essence of Who Not How is very relevant to any entrepreneur because we're always thinking we can do it all. We've got to wear 10 hats. We can't afford to hire all these people. But that's a fast track to making it almost impossible to scale. You can't do
it yourself.
You can't do it all. So when you start thinking, okay, every time, all right, this is a cool idea, great. Don't think about how you're going to do it. Think about who's going to help you. Who else would be on the team? Who do you want to bring on your board? Who do you need to partner with and collaborate with? I mean, Amanda's here right now. We collaborate with her on social media.
Yep.
And because I can't do it. I can't do all of that and dive in. And so you make it work, but I think the more you can ask who, not how, and as opposed to how many more things and jobs can I do,
right,
and just get out of the way, the more you're likely to scale.
Speaking of Who Not How and building your team, how big is your team for Dig South? And let's talk about what it takes, the size of the team, the planning, and then let's give some teasing on who's going to be here for it. And when is it again?
It will be June 11th and 12th at the College of Charleston Simmons Center for the Arts.
And what's our .com, just in case listeners can...
DigSummit.com. That's DIGSummit.com. Dig South will be the anchor event for Charleston Tech Week, which will run June 8th through 12th. Charleston Tech Week is a big decentralized festival. Think of it that way. So anybody who meets the basic criteria of an event that largely supports, technology, entrepreneurship, and that's a big umbrella, is welcome to apply and host an event at charlestontechweek.com.
Steffi and I did it. We did a podcasting 101 out of the Mount Pleasant Chamber headquarters.
That's right. Year one, we had 23 events, and you were a big part of that. So this year, the goal is to approach 50 events. We'll see if we can get there.
50 events.
Yeah, let's double the 23. Why not?
So to my question of, what's your team look like, and what does it take to build this monster?
Yeah, so the team scales up the closer we get to the event. So we have a lot of independent contractors. I mentioned Amanda on social media. My wife, Sunny, supports the team. It runs her own business, essentially Charleston, but she's still involved in the financial side and the accounting part of it. Mel Trong is our partnership director. Mel is a powerhouse, incredible human. I'm very honored to collaborate with her. And then Carrie Glasscock is our producer. She's been with us at least 6 or 7 years at this point, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And then we have a whole host of other people that get involved on our AV side, our tech team, Then we have a lot of collaborators, and many of our partnerships, actually, the sponsorships themselves are people that also contribute to the program.
Sure.
Through Wild Pitch, through the Investor VIP meetup, through our Startup Rodeo, which is a speed dating event.
Cool.
Yeah. So it just depends on the need and the
How
year.
is a rodeo a speed dating event?
Right? Yeah, I mean, because whoever stays on the horse the longest gets the investment.
There you go. There you go. Did you just make that up on the spot?
I did. I just
love
completely made that up. Well, and then the College of Charleston, I got to give them an incredible shout out.
Uh-huh.
They are not only a partner, but very much a collaborator. I mean, not only a host, I should say, but they're in the trenches with us. They have a great team there that gets involved in helping us produce those events in Randolph Hall, Cistern Yard. You know, their team in the Simmons Center for the Arts is incredibly helpful. They make things happen. So, you know, we build the team every year. It winds up being about, I would guess, somewhere between 10 to 15 people, depending on the need.
Who's coming? Let's start there. Who do you think? You have speakers already, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. So this year we're very fortunate. We're more than 6 months out. We already have engineers from OpenAI, from Microsoft, from Nordstrom AI. Nordstrom has its own division.
What?
We have a couple people from Amazon, one from Amazon Prime Video, who
Hey,
works on
okay.
the AI algorithms there. And then 11 Tribes Ventures just came on board. The
Nice.
CRDA is a great partner, as always. And, you know, on and on. So we just build that lineup between now and that time. Anybody's welcome to apply to be a speaker at digsummit.com. The forum is live. And, you know, beyond that, it's really interesting. So from the beginning, let me back up, Mike.
Yeah.
Our goal has always been, how do we connect the South's most scalable startups with leading global brands? And we've had this notion that, you know, by thinking broadly, nationally, regionally, externally, beyond Charleston, that we can do the most to help people locally. Meaning that, you know, we have fantastic organizations that are very focused on the local ecosystem, and they're great partners, and they're in the trenches. You know, we feel like we differentiate ourselves from that in some ways by bringing in these speakers from around the country to bring expertise, connect with the companies here who may need to do business with them.
Yeah.
You know, and or be acquired at some point. You know, that's how we've seen that happen many times as well. So that's, you know, Dig South is a year-round endeavor. We have our Dig Nation member platform, and then we have this goal of connecting people to thought leadership at big brands, big tech companies like I just named, and then to investors. You know, money is the largely the fuel sometimes of a startup as it scales, whether they're bootstrapping or raising an angel round or venture round or all the way up to private equity.
So it doesn't really matter what round they're in right now. They can come to Dig South and find an investor that's a good fit.
Yes, we have something for every stage of startup. I mean, we do largely focus on that kind of growth stage company with about 20 to 400 employees. That's our sweet spot.
Okay.
But we have a lot of programming for the early stage founder, for the entrepreneur who just wants to learn more about digital marketing, more about supply chain, e-commerce, you know,
Right.
anything under the sun involved with emerging technology. What's the latest and greatest new way to do it? And then we have things, you know, with a lot of companies like Oracle, who's been a sponsor for many years. Obviously, they're, you know, a globally dominant player.
Yeah,
in
big time.
technology. And but you know, companies like that like to keep an eye on what's happening in emerging markets, and they like to sell cloud credits to startups.
Oh, well, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. It's a win-win for everybody, I feel like. And that's
Right.
kind of what you set out to build, isn't it? It's just like a big win for
Yeah.
Charleston.
Yeah, I mean, we do carefully curate the speaker lineup and think about who's really going to add value. But then beyond that, we don't go after the big celebrity names. Somebody's just going to parachute in. Yes, that's neat, but you're probably not going to do business with them. You may
Right.
never meet them again.
Great point.
We focus on founders and executives who are in the trenches today, growing, scaling their company, who want to meet you and will then take your call next week. You know, you reach back out via LinkedIn. You're like, hey, it was so good to meet you. I'd really like to learn more about your business. And by the way, maybe we could do business together. That's the sweet spot for us. When that happens, that's the win.
How can we go? And you have more of a membership base plan than just an event.
Right. So if
Pricing.
you buy a badge or ticket to Dig South Tech Summit, then you become a year-round member. So that's automatic. and that's bundled in there. And then you can attend our monthly events. We do Rise and Grind meetups. We do a lot of happy hours in partnership with the Harbor Entrepreneur Center and other groups, AMA, of course, Charleston AMA. And then, beyond that, we have things at every price point. So we'll have a community demo stage on June 11th that'll be free. Attend that event. We'll have, happy hours and meetups with a very affordable ticket price, all the way up to exhibitor booths, what we call lounges, which is more like a larger, sexier exhibitor space.
Sweet.
Last year we had a gaming lounge. It was a lot of fun.
Cool.
We had a Nelson Mullins kind of startup lounge where you could get advice from their legal team. And then, beyond that, then you can buy the whole enchilada, the 2-day Dig South Tech Summit badge.
Yeah. And all the energy that was at it was vibrating with just positive and new ideas. And I wasn't able to hear the speakers because I was producing the podcast and hosting. I was able to speak to most of them, which was great. But next year I kind of want to go to see some of them do their thing, and be in the audience a little bit more.
Right.
And there's a lot of where you can get in front of the new technology. So let's say that you're new to the tech scene here in Charleston, or you've been here for a while and you just want to get into the tech scene. You can test some of these platforms out right then and there. Like you had the thing with levelup.org, right? Matt Grayson and those guys. Topline was there, so you get to meet the founders. You get to potentially become a user of their technology, right? And then, leave a smarter person.
That's
I would
right.
say.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's, it's important to keep an eye on things. So as we progress in our careers, everybody understands that we started with the internet, and then social media rolled out, and that became so complicated you needed to hire a team to run that for you. And then just a few years ago, everybody was familiar with machine learning, and but they weren't with LLMs. And then 2023 hits, and LLMs are everywhere and exploding. And now last year, where everybody's very focused on agentic AI and where can I get an agent, that sort of thing. And now people are looking at world models, and they're thinking through their automated workflow and their whole stack. And what does this mean? Can I use it to code? Can I use it to answer my, super boring spam?
Sure. Or incoming
emails,
calls, or
in other words, what can it do for me now?
Right.
And so at Dig South, that's kind of a lot of what we do, is we introduce people to those concepts and ideas. And then we have speakers who say, this is a nice to have. It's a cool toy, but it's really not going to move the needle on your bottom line. Maybe you should think about this. Or, this is emerging. It's cool. Go play with it. But we may be 2 years away from it really making an impact on your business.
To get in front of something 2 years ahead of it, that's huge. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
I love it. So what we're also doing now, the reason for this show is to bring some founders to our listeners.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to tee up some people that are already on board for it. We've got Carter Kennedy at Solo Insight, and Jeff Baxter at 11 Tribes, and probably bring some friends from the CRDA on at some point, and we'll just have a fun discussion about what the latest hot take on Silicon Harbor might be.
Awesome. So we're going to drop these once a month. Yeah, for the starting in January.
Yes.
So you're lucky, listeners. You get the Charleston Marketing Podcast. You get the live Dig South podcast episodes that are we still have some that we haven't launched yet. So you get some of that. And then now you're going to get some of the Silicon Harbor hot takes coming at you too. So we're just trying to build value. We're trying to build a community here. And Stanfield's been doing it for a while. So we're going to ride his coat wave. His what do you call it? How do you say that? Ride his coat tails?
The coat tails?
Ride the waves? What am I doing here?
The wake,
the wake.
Silicon Harbor? How about that?
This guy. That's
got to come up with the metaphor that suits the hot take.
That's it. So we're super excited to be doing this. Thank you, Stanfield, for getting us the opportunity to help out.
Thank you, Mike.
And bringing in the heavy hitters here to teach our listeners a little something every month.
Yeah, let's have fun.
That's what it's all about. All right, listeners, thanks for popping in. This is kind of like our overview episode of what Silicon Harbor Hot Takes is going to be. And I wanted to introduce Stanfield as a host. You're going to hear his voice every episode. And a shout out to SCRA for being a Charleston Marketing Podcast sponsor. Shout out to the Charleston Media Solutions, our studio that we record all the time with Mr. Matthew as the engineer. Thank you very much. And Social ABCs, it's always good to hang out with you, Amanda. Who else do we need to shout out? We need to get a song track here and get maybe a shout out local,
song,
right? Like something like that. So, you know what? You'll hear it and you'll see it all on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Stanfield, thanks a bunch.
Thanks, Mike Compton. Good to see you, man.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon.